Hey Transformers, this is Erixis82. I'm going to be covering Microsoft Corporation on the weekly and the daily. I'm going to show you a little bit of everything that we do at Transform Trading. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that little bell button. We definitely appreciate it. Alright, so I'm starting with an empty chart for the entire price history on the weekly. And I'm just going to start with kind of my standard chart breakdown and see where it gets us. Always start out with my support and resistance zones, which that video is out now on our website. If you have not seen it, transformtrading.io. You do have to be a subscriber to see those. We can see that Microsoft's been on just a massive bull run. There has not been a lot of support and resistance zones because it's been straight up for 40 years. Yeah, one of the best stocks to have owned probably in my lifetime. What I do find interesting is on a weekly, we have hit this support zone and bounced right at the 50. And this is the only one we've really retested. So I could see this coming back up to here or even here just in the support zones while still staying in a bearish trend, or we could be bullish. I don't really have enough information off of just this, but that gives me some interesting zones to keep an eye on. So I'm going to go ahead and hide those for now. Take that back. I'm going to show you a little extra trick that I use. When I've got these sideways support and resistance zones, I'll throw in the VPVR, and it can kind of show me the high probability areas for when it retests where it's going to go to. I look for either the top of the VPVR zone, the POC, or the value area low. So value area high, POC, value area low are high interest zones. The POC aligns right with the 50. What do you know? That's where we came back and tested. It held and bounced, so there's no reason to assume that that's not a good low for now, at least. So I'm tentatively bullish, at least in the short term. My favorite trick here is to use all the pitchforks, mostly original style pitchforks, but I'll mix the other ones in every now and then to figure out where to place them. I will do log, but I like to look at them in arithmetic. I think it gives a better idea of support and resistance, especially in traditionals. It's a little different in crypto because their prices have gone so high. Obviously, there's a lot going on here. I've drawn a lot out. And what we see here, it's been bullish pretty much the whole way. It's been above every pitchfork. Above, 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 above. It lost this last one here and started falling away. So hide those for a second and got some bearish ones drawn. This one right here from the high, low, high. I find it interesting that it's losing that one. And then also this next pitchfork it's losing. So that is not as bearish as some of the other assets we've seen. Pop it over to a shift on both of these just to see what that looks like. So we're at some resistance. We've broken through today. If we hold above this, that's on the weekly. We've broken through on the weekly, so if we can hold above this on the weekly, I would expect a rally up to the top of these based on the pitchforks. And going down to some lower degree, which some of those are the same because they're the shifts. Yeah, same position in that 278 to 285 price range if we're going to continue on down. At the very least, we'd expect it to be heavy resistance. Going to show some Monty Magic or Fib resistance, fib retracement tools. What I've done is I've found relevant pulls from the top to all the different pivots that tend to have reactions at important points. And then I highlight clusters of targets and resistances, like 50, 618, the Monty zone. So these are the confluences, and I'm going to leave those boxes on to see if we can find anything interesting for a trade. So we add back in our support and resistance levels. That, yeah, what do you know? They're all pretty much, they're all in interesting places. They look like they have confluence with the support and resistance zones, which is not a huge surprise. Yeah, those don't really show us a lot. We're starting to get some confluence there. It's a little too slow to get to this upper edge, so that could show us an upper boundary. But here we're really getting to it. So I see this area. Depending on where it hits on this pitchfork, how long it takes. Somewhere in that zone with the support and resistance from order blocks, the pitchforks, as well as Monty Magic. And then at the top edge too, this median zone, the top edge of that. And these are starting to get out of our price range, so I don't think those are too interesting. So really I got 3 zones that are of interest to us. Like 277 to 285, 294 to 298, 305 to 307. And those are where I would expect things to turn. I do think we've got a little more up in Microsoft for now. So after building all my confluences and finding some zones that I'm interested in, the last thing I really do is look at indicators. So I'm going to turn off everything except for my price and my confluence boxes. I'm going to pull my indicators up here. I've got just volume, an RSI, slow stochastic, an ADX with a RSI behind it. I don't use the RSI behind it much. I just like the colors. An OBV and a MACD with log scale. So the interesting things to me are definitely on this weekly chart, which I moved back out to during the cut, is we bounced off the 200 week moving average. So that's definitely a strong support zone. And we're breaking through the 20. But if this week closes below the 20, I definitely think we've got more down. If it holds on the weekly 20, we go up to these price targets up here, 278, 295, 307 before a potential reversal. So I'm going to go down to the daily, which we have hit at the 200-day moving average too. So we're kind of pinned between 200 period moving averages, and what happens from there is going to be significant. Obviously, the days progressed, we hit it, and we have bounced off hard. If we close below the 20-day moving average, or even below the 10-day moving average, we may have seen a top there, and we might not get these higher targets. I'm not quite prepared to say that yet. Interesting things, though, are we're definitely having some divergences here. Divergences on the RSI, the slow stochastic. This is the ADX, which just indicates we're not really trending in any direction right now, which you can see. And the OBV, which is one of the reasons why I'm still leaning bearish, is this is an OBV, is the white line, just a standard OBV, and I've added a 20 period moving average and a 200 period moving average to it. The green is 20, the 200 is yellow. So the fast moving average being below the slow moving average is definitely a bearish sign to me. You can see in this whole bull run, you pretty much stayed above the 200 period. We flipped here slightly after the high, and we haven't even come back to close to the 200 period, and we're flirting with the 20 period as resistance. You can also see that the MACD is diverging. So we may have a top in, or we're likely to get a little bit higher top, but we'll still have divergence there. So since I've got you here, I'm going to go ahead and go down to the 1 hour and do a quick little analysis with a pitchfork live so you can see what it looks like. So you can see the pitchfork for the original is not reaching the median. That is a bad sign. If you know your Andrews principles. The test of this outside parallel is very likely to be. This would be a good place right there at the 277.35. We'll check it in Schiff. We're still holding inside it. It kind of fell out there. It could ride this whole thing up. So I can't help but feel that we're going to see this higher number at some point. I don't think we reverse right here permanently. That's just my gut feeling. And those pretty much covers all of the things that I look at when I'm analyzing a chart. If I were looking to go long here, we're actually at a pretty good place. This 254 with a stop at 251 with a target up here at 270. I'd use maybe a 2-week option for next Friday would be good, because if we get any kind of action up here, we're going to get a lot of that price captured, get a lot of profit out of it. And I'd pick a strike 265, something with high volume on it. If you want to learn how to do all this on your own, remember, go to transformtrading.io, and I'm going to put that in the links below the chart, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. If you've got any questions, I'm going to try to be pretty interactive here. I'm not going to give away the farm, but I will answer your questions, and if you are a member, ask me in the Discord. I'll give you feedback there. Thanks a lot.